Hello and welcome to the first day of spring. This is the first video in this channel. I have another channel, but you guys probably have no clue what that is. Anyway, I thought I would make a second channel for tinkering around with things and other things like that. So today, what I'm going to do is, many people out there, or anybody who does a lot of video lighting and stuff like that, you need these special lamps and whatnot to do it, and they're often wicked expensive, like hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars. I have been using some shitty little floodlights, which are less than ideal, and regular bulbs are way too dim. And the other lamps that you regularly use are way too expensive. So, what I am doing today is I am making a adapted light to do it. I bought some flat panel lights, and I'll show you those in a second. And I'm going to try to build something that attaches them to the same stand my floodlights are on. The setup where I do recording for my other channel is kind of like a two ceilings at an angle. That allows me to basically aim the floodlights at the ceilings, which are white, and basically make a diffuse, even lighting. So I want to do basically replace the very hot and not very comfortable halogen lamps with the LED lights. Now, the LED lights I bought aren't very good for this kind of thing, but hopefully the diffuseness of the light will make it all even out. Alright, so here we are. These are the halogen lamps that I've been using before. As you see, these are like shop lights or something like that. They're very, very bright. Actually, they're dimmer than the LEDs that I got, but they're very bright and also very hot and not very comfortable to work with. Luckily, most of the recording I've been doing has been since it's been since the winter or the fall. So it hasn't been a big issue there, but at least with the heat. These are the lights that I bought. Now, if you're not familiar with these things, they, second here, there we go. They have these paddles on them. Oh, more, there we go, all right. So, we got these paddles on them. Basically, it allows you to set these up, and they plug into a regular socket. It allows you to set these up, and they're extremely bright. They're actually about twice as bright as the halogen, which is very nice. The halogen's like 6,000 lumens, I think. I don't remember the exact brightness, but these are like 12,000. It's like stupidly bright. Also, I got these. These actually, I pulled these actually out of another thing that was already doing. So these are excess. They were like free. I was going to use these, but let me show you what happens when we try and do that. Because actually, I thought these would be really nice. I'd be able to set something up like a wooden box. I was going to look like a wooden, instead of using this thing here, instead of using this, I was going to use like a wooden box and basically attach these to the box, or could have actually, I was also thinking of maybe a 5-gallon bucket, but the bucket's a little bit light. I would have had to put something heavy in it in order to hold it straight. So I was going to take these and attach them, and just a second. All right, so what I was going to do is I was going to take these, and I was going to attach them like this. Just screw it right in. And let me get this so you can see it a little bit better. Focus. So we were going to screw it right in like this. And then I was going to be able to angle them however I wanted to. However, there is an issue with doing that. The issue is these weigh a ton, like a lot. So when I screw these huge things in, it does this. It's totally Dudley. It doesn't work. Sorry, that's my kids in the background here. They're right up against the garage. All right, so this doesn't work. So I thought maybe I would adapt the lights for. Well, we don't use the halogen lights for anything. These would be better anyway, even if I need it for something else besides, you know, besides studio lighting. If I was going to use it for, you know, just some light at night, these are way brighter anyway and way cooler and use way less electricity than those bright halogen bulbs. So, yeah, I really don't care to keep those halogens anyway. So anyway, let's see what we can do here. I'll see what I can come up with to do this. Oh, and on a side note, just wanted to show you, actually, these are the lights. This is how I figured out these lights are super bright, is we're using them in the garage. These things, like this garage used to be wicked dark and dingy. Those things are wicked bright. I mean, they're super bright. I mean, the camera kind of like dumbs it down, but you can't even like look at those directly. It hurts your eyes. Okay, so something I just wanted to show. When I was looking at these, the bulbs and the thing there, just to show you how hot these get, just take a look at that. See the filament? Get a really close look at that filament there. There we go. Take a look at that filament. See where it touched the glass there? It melted it. It's like literally sticking down like a blob. That was ready to go. So this is going to burn out pretty soon because that was just melting. That filament's hanging down and melting its way through the glass where it's touching. You can see that little blob. And you can actually kind of see the filament in there. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit. There we go. Oh, stupid thing. Come on. It doesn't like to focus here. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. It literally melted glass. Anyway, yeah, so that gets hot. Really hot. Oh, and on a side note here, if you're ever handling these halogen bulbs and you're like, you have to like put them in and out of something, always, always, always use paper or cloth or something to hold the bulb. If you're going to hold it by the glass part, not that little, come on, there we go, not that little white piece. The white piece, you can touch it, it's fine. But the glass, you cannot touch it. If you touch it, when that thing gets hot, the glass has a tendency of cracking and breaking because of the oil on your fingers. So that's pretty darn important. That's just my warning system with doors opening and closing. All right, so yeah, if you're going to handle them like that. That's actually pretty universal for any kind of bulb like this, mercury bulbs, halogen bulbs, anything like that. All right, so let's take the lights off of this thing. Should be pretty easy. I'm not sure if I maybe want to take these handles and put them on the new thing. It would be nice if I could just utilize the whole thing, but I really can't because of the way this is designed. I'll probably need to make my own wires too. I'm not sure if you can see my face. It doesn't matter if you can see my face or not. You get the gist. So I'll just take these off. And as you can see, because we're using lights like the ones that I bought, these lights are pretty bright. If you hear the weird noises in the background, those are guinea fowl. Because I keep chickens and other fowl, and guinea fowl are also pretty popular. They're good at keeping ticks down in the yard. I kind of live out in the country, so So we keep chickens and guinea fowl. Oops. The one thing you really shouldn't hear around here, though, is cars, because my house is pretty far from the road. So you won't hear traffic noise unless someone pulls into my driveway. Wow, my kids are loud. Birds are louder. The reason why you can hear the birds is the coop is literally right on the other side of that wall behind the camera. It's right there. Of course, then again, guinea fowl are so loud. If you've ever kept any, you'll know. The issue is my kids are antagonizing them. But if you ever keep them, you know, like one time my wife and I were taking a walk down the street, and we heard some noises, and we said, oh, wow, I think that those people have guinea fowl. And we listened, and we're like, oh, wait a second, no. They're cutting wood with a chainsaw. All right. All right, so I just hit the jackpot. I forgot that I bought this thing. This will definitely be able to do it. Yeah, this is one of those exterior lights. Those like spotlights you put on the outside of your house. It's even got adjustable stuff here. Let's see if I can get in real close here. Just a second here. Let's see here. Let's zoom this. And come on. There we go. See, look at that. That is very nice. So what I can do is I might be able to actually go with my bucket idea and just put this on top of a 5-gallon bucket. Just screw that on there, wire some cables, and voila. the easy quick solution, huh? All right, so here's the new plan. All right, so we're gonna take one of these buckets. Got a bunch of them. One of these lids. I don't have nearly as many of these. I'm just taking this old used one that I'm not going to use for anything potable at any point. This has got a rubber ring in it, which I'll take out. Just going to put that on there. This thing will even have a handle. Then we'll take this stuff. Let me open this up, actually. Okay, so we'll take this thing. Put it right on there. Actually, how does this attach? Oh. Hopefully. Oh, I see. Attaches on the sides here. Attach on the sides. So we might need. We can't attach it here. Or do they have a button in here or something? Oh, it's a light sensor. We don't need that. So we'll just put these plugs in it. We can use a light sensor for some other project some other time. That'll be useful. But not for this. All right, so these go on the side like this. So what I can do, let's just make sure this works actually. Oh yeah, we'll actually want to make this up really high because these are really big. With them this big, that's going to be, well, if we do it up at an angle and we lank them in, then we can, might work. Ooh, this is not good. I don't think this is long enough. It's not one thing, it's another, huh? So we'll need to, unless, no, that doesn't change anything. And I can't take these shrouds off either. Because if I take the shroud off, then it won't. I could cut it, I guess. I don't want to do anything like that. I think I have some little things you put on a light like this that extend it out to pad like plugs. That's probably what I'll do. I'll put one of those in there, and hopefully they're not so weak they break. It'll definitely not like these stupid things. These things, it wouldn't work. All right, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, so I was getting worried, but I found them. I have two of these things, and they weren't in the same place. All right, so they can just screw right in here like this. And then, now, I can take these things and screw them in here like that. And bingo. This is gonna look really weird, but hey, if it works, right? It doesn't really matter how weird it looks. And put this on here. Alrighty, so, also when something is going to be a little bit of an issue, hopefully you cannot hear my kids yelling at each other outside. Well, actually, that might work just like that. I won't have to do anything too fancy because this is hanging over the edge of the bucket. These are really heavy though, so I'll need to put some kind of weight inside of here. Sand or rocks or something just to weigh the whole bucket down. I live in the Granite State, so we've got plenty of rocks around here. Alrighty, so what I have to do, if you can see there's a hole in the bottom of this, is I'll have to take this. Are there any screw holes on this thing? Doesn't look like it. How is this actually supposed to attach to something? Maybe I should look at the instructions, right? Okay, so I'll drill a hole in this, and the wire will go down, and then I'll have another hole, and maybe some kind of grommet or something on there. And this is basically going to hold the light, and I'll just plug it in like a regular light, and it seems to be at a tight, well, it's not too bad. I guess we can work with that. Yeah, and then before I guess I'll actually be able to do that now. Let's see. It might be in the way. I definitely want the handle up by default, so if this is going to be in the way, I'll just make sure to screw this thing with the handle up. Yeah, so that'll work, won't it? All right, so I discovered something a little bit unfortunate about this thing. This thing right here. Well, you can't follow the instructions. The instructions say we need to use these little tabs and then attach them to these holes. With screws, they didn't provide. Well, I guess they got this kind of thing that's a little bit self-tapping, huh? They have one. They don't have two. They only gave us one screw. And these holes are not threaded. They're not threaded. So that's a bit of a problem. Also, sitting on this lid's probably going to be a little bit unstable. I don't know. Maybe it'll be balanced. The children. Yeah, you know, it's the first day of spring, so they're definitely want to play outside today. Of course, this doesn't fit. And it expects us to put this in here. Does not provide us with anything. It just expects this to sit here. This is threaded for some reason. Maybe it's, oh, I see. This is supposed to go over it. I can just plug it with masking tape, I guess. We don't have to be fancy for this. But it is annoying that they only gave us one mounting screw for this. Well, we'll figure it out. All right. So for this, first things first, we're gonna drill a hole in the lid of this right here in the middle, and we're gonna use this thing called a step bit. Step bits are ideal for cutting through or drilling holes in thin material. And the advantage of step bit is you only need, it's got this tapered shape, and it's like one of those, well, it's like a step pyramid in Egypt. That's what it kind of looks like. And each of these steps is a different size, and because you're drilling through something thin like this plastic, so I was looking for sheet metal, you just drill it as far in as you need to get to the right size hole. Normally for something like sheet metal, I would drill a pilot hole. I don't think I need to with this plastic. Although let's see if we can get that little knob. Get my hands out of the way there. That little knob of plastic will make this job a little bit easier. Put a little divot in it, so we have a starting point, so it doesn't, the bit doesn't wander. Let's see what's the size we need to go to. So this is the hole. It's going to go in like this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And when it comes to power tools, I mean, I know cordless power tools are all over the place these days. Personally, I prefer the corded ones just because I'm so forgetful. I never remember to charge those cordless ones, so they're never ready to go. The only annoyance with the corded one, of course, you have to be close to electricity. But all right, so here we go. Right through, okay. Now let's make sure we go to the right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right to there. Okay, we do have the scrap that we have to deal with, but we would anyway with any kind of thing. Okay. We got some crud. So let's flip it over and do the other side as well. Go ahead and clean that out. There we go. Clean that right up. Alrighty. I think that's the right size. Alrighty. So now we mount these things on. Should go right there. We can screw it down. Oh, yes. We're going to want to put... Oh, actually, maybe that'll work. I won't have to... This just clears it by the looks of it. This handle does. So, I might be able to get away with that. And what we'll do is we'll add the tabs. And I will drill 2 more holes for the tabs. Because I'm going to use some nuts and some washers to actually hold this thing down, because normally you're screwing this thing into wood or something like on the side of your house, you would use a regular wood screw, but yeah, that's not going to be ideal in this situation. So let me go get my other bits. Let's take this out. Go. First things first, let's attach these with the screws that I brought over here. Oh, here they are. One of them anyway. What's it doing in there? How did it get in there? Oh, here's the other one. All right, so here we go. Let's do this. So we're just going to take this and screwdriver right here. I switched lids because, like I said earlier, the other one had a crack in it. This one's actually got a hole because we used it for a little hole. We used it for a different purpose at some point. I think we made some I think my brother used it to make some wine or something at some point. So we had a hole for a bubbler. Interesting stuff. Maybe I'll do that on something like that on this channel sometime. Ooh, this is not going to go deep enough, I don't think. Self-tapping screw was too short. Ugh. Well, there are a couple ways around this. I have a nice little thing that I can use to fix this problem. We'll just make these screws a little bit shorter. Although I might have some grounding screws, which will be the right length. I'll go look around for that and be right back. All right. So, we can get a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing here. So what I found is these things, they have these extra little grounding screws that aren't needed when the thing is screwed into the box. It's got a grounding screw inside of it. This is probably if you're going to mount these into a plastic box or something like that. And these grounding screws are self-tapping, just like the other extra little screw. So we're just going to use this. And because there's two of them, so it's ideal. We'll just use this instead of trying to figure out some other grounding screw, because those holes are, the self-tapping screw they provided is just really short and it doesn't tap very deep. So these little self-tapping grounding screws will work real nice. Okay. So we're back again. I found a couple of cords. I had this old one, which is actually a rather nice cord, but it has one caveat that it does not have a grounding wire. This is all plastic. Well, it isn't all plastic. This is the problem. It's mostly plastic, but this is not plastic. So if for some reason this thing shorts on the inside, there's a risk that somebody would get shocked. Me, being I'm going to be the one touching this thing, but. So, safety first. So what I'm going to do, or what I did, unfortunately I can't use this for this thing. It'll be good for something else. I'll still keep it around. But what I used to have, well, I still do, but it's changed. So in the chicken coop, I have heater for the chicken water so it doesn't freeze in the winter. I had one that was very simple. It was one of those like water heaters. It's like a thing kind of shaped like this bucket like that, and you just put a water bucket on it and it keeps it warm. I used to have some kind of interesting 5-gallon bucket solution, but it broke. And I literally had like a 5-gallon bucket upside down inside of it. It was very nice. Again, something I should have, if I've been doing this stuff before, I could have done a video on that. At any rate, so I had a cable on. It broke. And after it broke, instead of just trying to fix it because didn't have the valves. I mean, I do a lot of this jury rigging kind of stuff. I didn't have the valves and stuff that broke to fix it again. So instead, I just bought a chicken water, a big one, and I got I already had a heating cable. I just wrapped it around that thing, so I don't need the chicken water heater. The chicken water heater, I replaced the cable because the cable broke. The rats in the coop. It ate all the cables and destroyed them. So I had to replace them with an old extension cord, which they also ate the end off, but I was able to just clip the section that I needed and I had a good piece. So that's what I'm going to use. It's over here. This cable, it's all wet because I had to wash it. It was in the chicken coop, and, well, if you have chickens, you know what happens to things inside of a chicken coop. It's got these little ends that I put on there. I'm just going to snip them right off. Then I'm going to drill a hole. And, in fact, there was a plastic grommet. Here it is. That was on the old heater. It's all rusted out anyway. I can actually utilize this thing to make it so the wire doesn't pull through. Just put it on the inside like this, so the wire will come out and work great. And the important part of this is it's got a ground on it. That way, if this does have an issue, the electricity goes to ground instead of through me. All right, so let's drill some holes, shall we? Let's see. Actually, I might be able to use the step bit for this one. Drill it to the right size. I'll have to just kind of test and see. So probably how we want this, where we want the hole. I guess it doesn't matter too much. This cable is pretty long because it was part of an extension cord. Well, why don't we make it come out the side here, this. We'll want to have it pretty high up. We'll want to have it high up because if I put some rocks or whatever in here, I don't want it going down through the rocks. So I'll put it up somewhere like right here or something. Let's not put it on the warning label. Well, let's put it on this side. So right there maybe. That'll allow us some room to put some stuff in it. Just mark right there. Good. This is going to be too big. Too big. Let's see if this fits in it. It does fit in it. So we can clog it, but so that's not going to be an issue. We'll see here. Once I put the cable through it, it might fit just fine. Let's test it. Okay, that's pretty good. No, that is big and loose. Well, you know, we can also put, since this fits almost exactly, I have some grippy things, which I can use in there. So, I'll be back in a minute after I get those little electrical things that fit in there just fine. All right, I'm back. I found one of these things. They go in these holes here, and they just grip the wire so that you don't have an issue. You don't have an issue with the wire pulling out. I just found this sitting around. A part of something else, again, that was garbage, so I might as well use it here. I'm a firm believer in using everything I got laying around here rather than going to the store all the time, especially with COVID and all. Alright, so it's going to go in like this. This little thing's going to go on the inside. So let's see if we can tighten this on here. Well, it's a little small, but it's plastic, so it'll give. So just to give you a close-up of what we're doing here. Alright, so if you look at this, I'm just taking this thing and just tightening into this hole. Where's the good focus here? There we go. Alright, so the cable's going to go in through here and then come up into the bucket here. So if you look right there inside the bucket, there it is. And it's going to come through, the cable come up. That little thing's going to grip it. And make it so we don't have an issue with the cable breaking and shorting and whatnot. Okay, so let's put this on here. I'm going to use this so I don't cut my fingers on that sharp screw hole. And this is really got a good grip now. Got it really into that hole. Now, what we can do is we can thread the wire through, and I'm not gonna tighten this thing down. So how this works is the wire goes in to here, and we got this little thing goes in like this, and I'm gonna just clip these off. We don't need them anymore. I should probably just do that now. Guineas are getting pretty loud because I let them out because the kids are outside, so the hawks won't eat them. All right, so just a second, let me get some more stuff here. All right, so I got my wire strippers. I got a little cutting piece on. I'll just cut all these ends off. And I'll cut this wire back a little bit so we have a little more freedom of movement. Okay. Just take these and get this out of the way. Making quite a little mess down here. Stuff that I'm going to need to clean up. So maybe we can just cut this back with this. This is really hard. I don't have a regular stuff for doing this sort of thing. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I don't, of course. So I just kind of gently cut through the plastic. If I cut too deep, what I'll have to end up doing is just cutting this whole thing back. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't like doing that. Because if you cut too deep, then you cut into the wire, and then you have a problem with the short, which you don't want. I don't have any linesman pliers, although, I don't know, a friend of mine used to be an electrician. And he said that, you can do everything with the linesman. But as far as I'm aware, that's not a good idea. But, it's the one tool that all electricians have hanging around, I guess. Let's see here. And no cuts. Perfect. Well, there's a little bit of cut in the grounding wire, but that's fine. It's a grounding wire. All right, so let's take a look at these other wires. They look pretty good. They got a little bit of a crimp in them because this is where they were crimped, but I think that's good. I'll strip them back a little. How much? Let's look at these other wires. I'll strip them back that far. It's fine. This is another thing you got to be careful of stripping wires. You strip them. You use the wrong sized hole on your wire stripper, and you'll accidentally cut the wire. It's another thing you don't want to do. All right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to feed this through. I'm not going to tighten this down or anything. I'm just going to feed it through this. Okay, there we go. Pull it. If I wasn't standing on it, I'm going to pull it through the lid. Like that. There we go. Oops. Pull it through like this. All right. Once it's in here, we're supposed to probably have another one of those things in there, but I think this should be fine for this. We shouldn't need to have another one of those wire grippers because this is going to be holding the wire. So even if we jank on this thing, it shouldn't pull it from inside of here. But normally on this thing, you would have another one of these for most situations. But I think this will be sufficient for what we're doing. Okay, so next thing we want to do is take these and we'll wire them through. Got some wire nuts that came with the little project here, the little device. This makes it so much easier than using that halogen lamp thing. These things. And something that's very important here, it's a mistake I've made in the past. Screw this in before putting the wire nuts on it, because then you're going to twist the wire. It's bad. So yeah, let's do that. Let's put this through, and then we'll tighten. Oops, put these down. Then we'll tighten this. Straighten this out to make this job a little bit easier. Okay, just do that. There we go. Although we might have a bit of an issue. I should have put these on, I guess, before doing these, huh? Because this is going to be a bit of an issue. I can just do this loose. Let's just loosen it. Just not too loose. Okay, right there I think is about it. So we are going to tighten that up straight with the pliers, of course. Again, adjust them. These adjustable pliers are so nice for this sort of thing. Okay, and see what I'm doing. Oops, got wire nuts. So I screwed this into these. You see the hole over here. Screwed this into this hole, so the wire's now coming through. Let's do it on the other side. Thumb tighten that for now. These we'll be able to tighten these up more later. Oh, this one looks like it's a little cockeyed, so I'm gonna have to loosen that and then retighten it. This is not the ideal wrench for this, or pliers, because they've got this knob on this side. This is an old pair of vice grip. And the old kind, they had the knob. The new ones, I've got a few of those, but they're somewhere else right at the moment, so I'm just being lazy and not getting them, I guess. That back keeps falling out. Yeah, they got the knob, which makes it so you don't have a lot of clearance. Okay, so here we are. First things first, I see that my cable has fallen back in here. So let's pull it through a little. Push it up through this hole. There we go. Okay. So, white with white, black with black, and the ground wire goes in the ground spot. Well, I'm not going to do that yet until I get these other ones in because I don't have a lot of clearance here. All right, so let's get the white wires. Quite frankly, I should probably strip all these back a little bit more. I think this is a little short, but we'll see here. Let's twist these together with my fingers. You can do this with something else if you like. Although I heard that most electricians recommend not making tool marks, that's a bad idea. And the other important thing when you're doing little wires like this is that the wire nuts, when you push them into the box, they're pointing up. Just in case sometime in the future, oops, I want these to go the other way. Just in case sometime in the future they fall off. Here's my other wire nut. I dumped it here on the floor, right? Oh, there it is. Just in case they fall off, that if they're upside down, the nut will fall right off the wires, but if they're right side up, even if it's loose, the nut will stay on the wires. See? Gravity. No, if it's like this and it falls off, then the wires can hit something inside the box and cause a short. All right. I got the thing a little bit closer so you can see what's going on here. You can see the grounding screw in there. These caps, which ideally we can have them sticking straight up. That way, if something happens with them, they don't have an issue. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach that to right there. So that's a flathead, isn't it? So let's grab a flathead. Okay. The This is already pretty loose. Let's tighten that down a little. Wow, this is pretty. I think this is one of those things where they have a self-tapping screw and there's no threads in that hole. And of course they made it a flathead. Why do they do that? Oh, that really annoys me. When they do that, make it a flathead. And you know the flatheads slip out constantly. The person invented the flathead. Or not the person who invented it, more like the people who kept using it after. After they invented stuff a lot better. No excuses. None. It's like those must have been like a slotted screw lobby or something to keep this stuff going. Okay, so we're going to take this wire. We're going to insert it under here. Tighten this down. I know you probably can't see very well. My hand's in the way. Sorry about that, but got to hold it or we're going to have it be able to do this. There we go. That's in there real tight. Okay. Let's see here. Shove these in here. Okay. How is this? I might still go with a block of wood underneath. All right. So yeah. So now it's wired. So now let me reposition the camera again so you can see what I'm doing over here on the other side of the bucket. All right, so this has plenty of slack. We don't want it tight, this wire. We don't want this wire tight. We don't want it like pulling. So we're just gonna give it like a nice little intermediate thing. So if we wanna take the lid off, we're gonna have a little bit of extra to move the lid, so if we need to get in here for some reason, hopefully we won't have to. All right. After I put the dirt or whatever in there, the bricks or rocks that we're going to use in there to make it stable. So here we go. This is going to be a little difficult. And it looks like I only got one of these. The other one's kicking around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I found it. Still covered in expandophone because this was using some other project at some point. Nothing to do with me. It was a bunch of garbage stuff that my electrician friend left because he didn't need it, so he let me have it. Okay. A Phillips, way better than a flat slotted screw, as they like to call them. Flatheads, as I like to call them. And again, yeah, I know this isn't pretty, but I'm not really worried about pretty here. Pretty isn't important with this kind of stuff. It's not like I'm... it's not very important. It's just it's not important to make it pretty. And again, I'll probably speed this up for the patiently impaired. And there we are. I think that's got a pretty good grip. No one's going to yank that. The only thing that's a little bit sketchy is that, oh yes, I need to tighten these up. I left these a little bit loose. Oh, you can't see, can you? Let me, so you can see what I'm doing. All right. So we're going to tighten these up. Actually, I'm not sure what angle we're going to want. We're going to want that angle or this angle. Maybe this angle. We'll find out. Once I get it into position, we'll find out what angle we actually needed it. These are actually both the same angle now. This one was a little bit higher than that one. Okay. So, the other thing is this. I might forgo using this, just because it's got that hole in it, and these things don't actually fit properly, I don't think. I'll probably just, oh yeah, I'll just break that. It's not gonna work. That'll just break. So I have stuff that's less pretty that I can use. I also have a metal one. I wonder if the metal one is smaller. Let me see. A little metal one. I'll go back in just 1 second here. Oh, this is way too big. Hey, yeah. I'm just going to get a different lid for this. This is nice, but whatever. Okay, I'll be back in 1 moment. So, for one of my other projects, I have a bunch of... Oh, it's too small. Wouldn't you know it? Too small. Of course. Too small. Okay, well, I can use something else. Man, all these wires in the way. Okay. I hear those guineas out there freaking their little noodles about nothing. Okay, so that wasn't going to work. They're too small, and the bigger ones I have no clue where they are, so what I'm going to go with this is a fender washer. I got a bunch of those kicking around. It should be pretty quick and easy just to do this. Get a little nut on here with a screw, bolt, whatever you want to call it. See if it'll fit through this fender washer, and it won't. Great. So I need to find something that will fit through this fender washer. Of course, I could always just drill a bigger hole. That's kind of sketchy, though. These fender washers are pretty tough stuff. I guess I need to find something else. A different bolt that will go through it. All right, I found the stuff that will work. 2 fender washers. And a tiny little nut that goes on that screw. And of course the screw's a little long, but whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. Okay, let's clean this up a little. Here's our metal plate. So what we're gonna do, which one of these looks better? The one that looks better is the one on the top. This one. Okay, so let's do this, put this on here like this. It's going to be sticking down. Doesn't look like it's going to come in contact with any wires. That's good. So we're just going to put it like this. Now, normally I'd like to put some kind of lock nut on here, but I don't think I have any this small. Maybe I do. Let me look around here. There's some stuff kicking around. Those lock nuts from the other light that weren't needed. How big are those? Oh, those are way too big. Forget that. Okay, screwdriver. And we'll just kind of tighten this up like this. Phillips, of course. Nice and tight. There we go. It ain't going anywhere, and there's no sparks going to be flying out of it. Make sure all these wires are out of the way. We'll put this thing on like this. Perfect, look at that. Now we just need the screws. Come with it. Okay. These little doodads. And it's nice, they're also Phillips. You know, why do they use, if you're going to use flatheads, slotted screws, stick with the slotted screws. If you're going to go with the Phillips, stick with Phillips. Don't go back and forth. When you're going to make something, don't go back and forth with them. It's really annoying when they do that. Here we're going to use this, and then there we're going to use that. Try to make them all the same. Okay. You know, one thing I forgot. A switch. Maybe that's what I can add here. We'll find out. You might be able to add a switch there. I mean, it's inside that box, right? Well, let's see what we got. Now it should technically work. Before we put these lights on, let's plug it in and make sure we don't have a short somewhere that's going to make this thing blow up. Okay, just going to drag this over here, plug it in, and hope for nothing. And nothing. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw the lights in, and I'm going to hope for something. Here we go. Whoa. That is bright. Nice. This is exactly what I wanted. Whoa, yeah. Wow. That is bright. I might want to, wow. You see, whoa, yeah, you can see that on the camera real good. Now let's unplug this thing now. That's bright. Oh, boy, much better. All right. Yeah, so that works. Maybe we should put a switch on it. Alrighty, here we are, back again. Okay, so the ironic part of this whole plan, fender washer, no, we don't need it. Because we're going to have a switch, so we're going to put it on here. And we've unplugged this, so it's safe. So yeah, I'm going to put the switch in here instead. All we have to do is wire it. And that's it. Just wire it, put it on, and then we'll have a switch right on the top. I had a bunch of these laying around from another project, although this is my last white one of these, so I have to be careful with it. I broke a bunch in my last thing that I was doing. They're like so fragile. Alright, so I'm just going to get on doing this. I'll probably fast forward through it. You don't really need to like sit there and watch this. You will, but it'll be fast forwarded. Let's get rid of this. I was thinking of this going into here. Into just a second, let me grab it again. It's on the floor. It's a concrete floor, so I didn't have a lot of clearance hard to grab. Okay, I was thinking of putting this in here, but it's too small, and I didn't want. I could drill it bigger with the step bit. In fact, the step bit is what I actually originally bought this for, was putting one of these in a piece of sheet metal. But this got like a light on it. It's 12 volts. Forget it. Forget it. Stupid guineas, huh? Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to put this in. Put this together, wire it. I'm going to fast forward through this, obviously, so you don't have to watch it all. And that's it. Okay, so. Alrighty, put this on. Okay, here we are. It's currently not plugged in. Oh, let's get this fender washer out of here and this. All right. Okay, so let's plug it in, see what happens, see if it works. And hopefully no sparks, no nothing, absolutely nothing, and nothing. Perfect. Now, hopefully, something. Whoa, yeah, works. Yay. So, look at that. I think we're all done. Oh, one thing. We have to put some weights in the bottom. But, you know, you'd see me go and get some bricks. Next time we'll see it, it'll be functioning.